Hi friends. Okay, so this video is going to simply be explaining kind of what a day in the life of a Life Teen missionary looks like. So I realized in talking to you guys, just like in person and one-on-one and on the phone, I maybe have not done the best job of explaining entirely what my life looks like. So first and foremost, I'm sorry. Secondly, here it is. Okay, so to kind of just like set the stage and scene. So all of our Life Teen communities, so the one here at Cove Crest and the one in Hidden Lake, live by what we call a rule of life. So our rule of life basically lays out how we'll live, what we're committing to, and when we come and live here on the camp property, and when we are a Life Teen missionary, what is the model or like the way that we will live. And so it's kind of modeled after St. Benedict's rule of life. And if you look into different religious orders and communities, they each have a rule of life, simply because they're striving to mold their life to look like Christ's, and developing certain habits will help you do that. And so that's kind of what the background or the idea of our rule of life is about. And so the one for the full-time community is 12 pages long. It's really fun. But so it's broken up into different sections that are titled Glorify God in blank. So I'm looking at it right now. And so our first one is Glorify God in prayer. And what this goes through is that it breaks down what we understand prayer to be and how we live into it. And so I'll come back to this one in a second because it's pretty huge. It's the biggest one of our rule of life. It's the biggest section because we believe that prayer is the center and foremost of all things, because that's where our relationship with Jesus comes from. And so our prayer actually informs the rest of our life. So it's the first thing that we will glorify God in, and it's the longest section of our rule of life. Next, we have Glorify God in community. So this goes through what our communal life will look like, how it's structured. And what's really beautiful about this rule of life is it provides bumpers or like boundaries, or let's think about it this way. If I have a piece of land, what this rule of life does is it provides the fence. So I'm actually more free to roam around this land and to run as a child, and to be free and to fly and to run around and laugh and giggle and play, because I know my boundary. I'm actually a lot safer. There was actually a study done on playgrounds at schools, one without a fence and one with a fence. And they wanted to see which one the kids, sorry, I'm not doing a good job explaining this. Would kids be more free to run out with or without a fence? And they found significantly that with a fence, kids played far more freely, and they went all the way up to the border of the fence. While without a fence, they stayed very close to the school and very close to the grounds. And so it's really interesting when we know our guidelines and our boundaries, how much more free we are. And so that's kind of what this rule of life is pointing out as well. So we have Glorify God in community, Glorify God in discipleship, Glorify God in loving one another, Glorify God in building relationships, Glorify God in dying to self, Glorify God in our work, Glorify God in our person, Glorify God in our use of technology and entertainment, Glorify God in our speech, Glorify God within our home, Glorify God in hospitality, Glorify God through mission partnering, Glorify God away from mission base, and conclusion. So it's a lot right there. And I'll go ahead and attach this document in this email that I'm going to send out to you guys so that y'all can look at it as much as you want and sit with it. So all of this, there's a lot here. And what we commit to is striving our best to live this out. And so it's not like you failed, you're off the island. But it's, hey, we're all trying to love Christ more. And so how can we do that? And it's really beautiful because everyone living here on camp has committed to this. So we all can hold each other accountable into living into this. And so when I fail at this, I can trust my housemates and my teammates that they will call me higher into living into this better, into loving them better. And so kind of with this as our foundation, what our day-to-day looks like, pretty typically. One time, I like to tell people the one for sure certain thing about my day is prayer, which I think is really beautiful. And so here at Cove Crest, it looks a little bit different at Hidden Lake because of their home parish in town. They have different mass times. But so for us here at Cove Crest, when we're here, we either have a 7 a.m. holy hour or 7:30 a.m. holy hour, depending on when mass is in town. So 7 a.m. or 7:30 a.m. holy hour. So we all walk to the chapel, we sit in front of the Blessed Sacrament, and we chat with Jesus for an hour. Right after that, we pray Liturgy of the Hours, which is second highest form of prayer in the Catholic Church. So the first highest is the Mass, and the second highest is Liturgy of the Hours. And it's actually an extension of the liturgy. And so every religious community throughout the world is praying Liturgy of the Hours. So it's actually it's the continual prayer of the church. And what it is basically a series of psalms and readings and of hymns that we partake in. And so kind of thinking about it as like this beautiful river that's flowing on. And when you pause to pray Liturgy of the Hours, you're entering into this river of time and this river of love that's continued throughout the church from very, very beginning early church until this day. And it's the continual prayer of the church. And so like when we're asleep over on the other side of the planet, there are religious communities praying the hours as well. And so it's this like continual voice reaching up to heaven. And so after our holy hour, we pray Liturgy of the Hours, morning prayer. That takes about 30 minutes or so. And during a part of our routine of morning prayer, we read a portion of our Rule of Life. And so just for us to continue to pray with and meditate and reflect on this rule that we've committed to. After that, if we have Mass in town, we'll go ahead and drive to Mass in town. If not, we'll head straight to breakfast. And so if we did go to Mass in town, we come back home and we have breakfast as well. And so we get to have breakfast at home. And then right after that, we come up to the office and we have a meeting for the day, just to be like, hey, this is what's up. This is what we're going to be doing for the day. And if it's the first one of the week, we kind of get a glance at the week, and then we're off to work. And so this part kind of just like, I'm going to gap it off as like, looks very different every single day. Typically for outreach team, what we do is a lot of retreat prep. You would be surprised by how much preparation has to go into a retreat. Maybe some of you wouldn't, but I was kind of surprised. And so we prepare talks, we prepare content, we think through all the things that we'll need, we prepare games, we practice our talks, we make the set, we paint banners, we do banter back and forth a lot. But yeah, so it kind of looks like whatever needs to be done. We write thank you notes to people that have hosted us before, we get our car cleaned for the outreach van. We do mission partnering time sometimes, if all of our stuff is done for retreats. Yeah, that's kind of a sort of typical day for retreat prep, at least. And so there's always a here and there everywhere, what needs to be done, what not. Sometimes we do work projects around camp just to help maintain the campgrounds themselves, because we have a lot of grounds to maintain. Yeah, and so at some point in that, you'll break for lunch, and then it's really beautiful. So at Life Teen, we just like we try our best to honor the balance between like work and life, especially when we live here. Like we live where we work, and the people we work with are our community, and so it's really interesting to just like learn how to balance personal time and work time. And so Life Teen does a very good job about ending our day around 5 or 6. And so really reserving the afternoon or the evening time for whatever you need to get done to continue to be a human. So eating dinner, working out, playing games, having some alone time, reading a book. Really the evening's up for you. Some of us really love to go to trivia in town, and it's really fun because then we just get to hang out with people in town and get to know our community, like our neighborhoods, because we live in a pretty small area. Yeah, what else do we do? Oh, I was gonna say this. We also each month we have scheduled community nights, and so a house here will host all of community over, and in community night we just get to hang out. We have dinner together, and we do birthday affirmations, any community announcements that you have, and then we'll end the night in praise and worship together. And so it's just really beautiful to continue to like come back together as a community and enter into prayer and whatnot. On Thursdays, we pause our work to we have what we call Life Teen Holy Hour. So everybody that works for the organization of Life Teen pauses to pray a holy hour to intercede for everyone a part of the mission, everyone that we're serving, and particularly at camps for retreatants that we have coming up that weekend, or for outreach ones that we're going to go serve. We pray for everyone by name in front of Jesus. And so this is where we get to pray for our mission partners by name as well, and any intentions you guys have. And yeah, it's really beautiful. That's kind of just like a general scope of our day-to-day of life here at Life Teen. And so I hope this kind of gives you guys a little bit more insight into what we do and what my life looks like day to day. Outreach team is kind of a little bit more chaotic sometimes because we're not really here and we're on the road. It's still really beautiful. We pray our holy hour and we pray morning prayers still every single day. And we just get to encounter people on the road a lot more frequently. And yeah, it's just a really, really beautiful mission to be a part of. Maybe perhaps I'll take a video in the car and send it to you guys. We'll see what happens. I don't know. But yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions. I would love to share more about what our life looks like day to day here. And yeah, just how I can invite you even more fully into the mission here at Life Teen. I hope this was helpful. I'm going to attach the rule of life and I think it's on our website as well, but I'll attach it just to make it easier for you guys. So yeah, I hope this was helpful. I love you all, and God bless you.